just really interesting to me. I like the show, and I'm going through it with my father-in-law right now.
Really excited to meet Matt Paxton. I watch Hoarders all the time, and I just thought learning about the hoarding experience was really neat.
How do you approach someone that is older in a long-term home versus a young person?
It really depends on the situation. It depends on the person. It depends on what exactly you're approaching. Be compassionate and be cautious. Take into effect that there could be some safety issues, and at the same time, this is something that they're dealing with pretty heavily. And then reach out to the appropriate sources regardless, so maybe someone with a more professional take on the situation can intervene as necessary.
The hoarder I know is asking for help. The church doesn't seem to want to help or have tried and been unable. How do I help her or point her to help?
It's a tough one, the church not wanting to help. That probably is not the best solution for the hoarder. There would be a lot of people potentially on site and trying to make decisions who don't have the training or the expertise to do so, which would just cause frustrations and roadblocks. Also, there are numerous safety concerns in the house the person may not be prepared for. The best thing to do would be to call an expert. ServiceMaster does specialize in this. I do consultations, phone calls with people all the time, just to see how he might fit in. And if we're not the right people to help, obviously we're well connected, so I can get you connected with the right agency to help out.
You want to call two experts. Call one on the mental health side and then call one on the cleaning side. You're not going to get in trouble on either one of those. What I would tell you from an individual, if you're talking to a loved one, let them know you love them. Let them know that this is real and that you're going to call an expert to get them help. But don't say you're filthy, you're disgusting, what's wrong with you. Ultimatums are extremely ineffective, and it's not actually what you want. What you want, what you want is to, what song is that? That's a Beastie Boys song, isn't it? What you want is to love that person and be with them more. Ultimatums and surprise cleanups are the worst.
What's the success rate of recovery with 1 year of therapy and continued therapy?
Our numbers show us we have a 60% success rate with ServiceMaster, my method, over the last 3 years. If we go to therapy, we have a 60% staying clean rate. If we don't go to therapy, guess what that success rate is? It's as bad as you think. It is 0. To really dumb it down, if you have a buddy that's an alcoholic and you just take his beer, have you done anything?
What therapy or medications are being researched for treatment?
The research on this is very new. We don't have anything definitive. I think the important thing here is there's no magic cure. So we really have to look at this person as the individual that they are and do an assessment and figure out what is going to work for them. Some, it may not involve medications at all. It may just be behavioral, and others it may involve both. But whatever it involves, it's going to be very individual to this person because there is no one set of behaviors or personalities that is going to come in the door with this.
I work in HUD elderly housing. It's very difficult to know how to make that change for someone to avoid an eviction. And who would I contact in relation to lease evictions?
The Fair Housing Center is not here, but they actually participate in the board, and there are certain protections that are available to people with diagnosed mental illnesses. It is not a cure-all, but it can buy people some time. And there's also the West Michigan legal aid. You do need to qualify for that, but if somebody's qualifying for vouchers, it's likely that they would qualify for some legal advice through that agency. You need to have a tactic in working with them and try to get them the mental help that they need, in addition to very often the physical help that they need. If people are being evicted and they need to be relocated, Housing Resources in town we've worked with them on a couple of cases and they've been amazing. If you are stuck and you don't know what to do, I would say your first choice of contact is going to be the Hoarding Task Force.
Document. And one reason you want to cover your own job by making sure you document, but you also are holding them back from resources that may be available. You don't document, it holds them back from being available for those resources. So you're protecting both the hoarder and themselves by documenting properly.
What specific trauma ends in a successful permanent cleanout?
We don't know. I mean, we're really, really curious. I'll tell you that we have found if the person just suffers from OCD, and there's some other trauma that takes it, their OCD actually tends to make them a more successful long-term cleaner. I will tell you, the most successful cleanouts that we have are aging seniors that relinquish their assets and move into assisted living. I will argue that no one has done the research on this. Diet and medication regulation is insanely important.
And I think connectedness is key, whether it's through talk therapy or with family, friends, creating those relationships that they're trying to find and fulfill with things.
The positiveness of hoarding, what happens on the back end 10 years later, and how much better their life is. We have a lot of good success stories too. Unfortunately, nobody wants to put that on TV.
What's the role of law enforcement?
So law enforcement's role in the process is we are responders. In Kalamazoo, we're the fire department and we're the police department and we're also medical first responders. But our role now, we're starting to change since I became aware of the Hoarding Task Force. Our role now is to recognize and also report. We report these issues now to Adult Protective Services, and now that the Hoarding Task Force has begun, that's opening up a whole bunch of resources for police to contact. We're trying to give folks the resources, so we're also a liaison. And if it's so extreme, we would also contact our fire marshal, who would have the ability to actually condemn the home, and we would also flag the home as a do not enter home. It sounds cliche, but anybody that's in the police, law enforcement, or EMS service, they signed up for those jobs to help people. And when the home is flagged in our system as a do not enter home, that's exactly what happens. The home gets flagged as a do not enter home because it's too dangerous. That's specifically for fires.
It's one thing for me, a cleaner or a therapist, to say something, but this is the dude that goes in the homes. You need to hear what he said. It's really important. If it's too dangerous, they cannot go in, and their job is to do exactly they want to go in, and they can't. And I've had many, many clients that we find at the front door post-fire, and they just couldn't get out. That's not a popular thing to say, but we thank you for saying it, because it's real, and that's what they do on a daily basis.
What role do you see social workers in the Hoarding Task Force?
I'm going to address this as Adult Protective Services initially. So we receive a complaint from centralized intake, doesn't matter who it is, and we're not allowed to give out that information, is concerned about someone in a home who happens to be in a hoarding home. And what we're able to do is go out to the home and try to at least talk to the person. We're investigators, but we're social workers. We're there to simply address any concerns of safety and well-being. Everybody should feel safe. We can connect them with counseling services, with CMH services. We can connect them with cleaners. Maybe they want help, maybe they don't. At least we're there to tell them help is available to you, and that's why we're out here. If somebody doesn't feel comfortable just dealing with professionals, getting family involved in a very positive manner sometimes creates a very supportive network. And then we can connect them with those resources. Bottom line, APS through the state has funds available to help each and every client that's called into the system. So if we can assist with those service cleaning fees, if we can assist with those counseling fees, if we can get them hooked up with Medicaid, if they don't have Medicaid, or if they don't have Medicare, if they don't have insurance, if they need help with food, we have the ability to connect them with these resources.
There's a community fear or stigma that they're going to come and take my mom's home, kick her out, and then the city will own the property. Will you touch on that?
It's a little harder for clients to talk to Adult Protective Services because we pose a threat to them. We're going to take you from the home, or we're going to take your stuff. Not the case. We're simply there to address their safety and well-being and to hook them up with services. We have the ability to be able to assist them.
From a law enforcement standpoint, and I know I work with the housing inspectors quite frequently, there's not been an instance that I'm aware of where the city has ever taken a home because of someone who is a hoarder. The housing inspectors don't go in the homes with the intentions of the city trying to get the home. It's not an interest whatsoever. We want to keep that person in their home. We want to keep them safe, and we want to keep a taxpayer in the community. that supports my job.
Hopefully you're figuring out that it's a pretty complicated topic to deal with today, and there's a lot of different agencies that you have to work with. There was a lot that was covered by Melissa. There's a lot that she can do and services that she can offer on the mental health side of it. When you're dealing with the city, you are dealing strictly with structures and property and making sure that it's safe.
What won't ServiceMaster clean up? Or what will you clean up?
We can improve things pretty dramatically. So yeah, everything that's been mentioned, water damage, fire, bed bugs, you name it, we probably can help with it.
Sometimes just getting it livable again is actually a wonderful thing. They'll be like, oh my God, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And you're thinking, God, I wish we could have done so much more. It's more how you do it versus exactly what you do.
I'm a family member and have sought counseling. It's still so hard to cope. My siblings and I each have very different emotions. Anger, hurt, sadness. What do you recommend?
It is heartbreaking. So I think the important thing for you to keep in mind is that a couple of things, you did not cause this. And the other thing is you can't fix it. So you need to have your own support system. You need to get a therapist. Recognize that you can't fix this. You can be there with the phone numbers to call when they're ready and say, here, I know where you can get the help. Here it is. I'm behind you. I will support you. But other than that, all you can do is just say, I'm here for you, and then take care of yourself.
If you're a spouse or if you are specifically an adult child of hoarding, your anger is valid, it's real, and it's allowed. Not physically, but mentally, you're allowed to be upset. Your life is different because of this disorder. Well, there's a great website, childrenofhoarding.org. It's a wonderful website. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of people living the same life you're living as a child or a spouse of hoarding, and you can share your stories.
One of the things we haven't talked about a lot today is the cost of cleaning these issues.
It does take many partners coming together to build the infrastructure within our community to support this issue. You're all here because this issue has touched you on some level, whether personally or professionally or both. So we as a community need to come together to support this and support the individuals, whether it's changing our local law, our local statutes, working together to make that change.
I always want to say to you guys, this is a phenomenal task force since I've been here last year. This is an awesome resource for you guys to have. Please reach out to it and please support it. I work with task forces all over the country, and I'm kind of shocked, so this is awesome. Thank you.